Hey, it's Don Taylor with FranChoice, and today we get to talk about the fun part, which is what does it take to find a business for you? And what does that process look like? So here's where we start. We always start with a quick 15-minute introductory call. And it's an opportunity for you and me to get to know each other, ask a few questions. I will lay out the process of what it takes to go through that formally and ultimately vet and identify businesses that are a match for you. I'll answer any questions that you have on the front end, and I'll have a couple for you. And really, my goal is to, at a high level, make sure that franchising, in fact, makes sense for you to pursue, so we're not wasting anybody's time. Now, once we get through that introductory call, if we agree to work together and everything sounds great, then we're going to start with a consultation. And you'll see through this process, everything we do is about you. So the first thing we're going to do is a deep dive on you, your skills, your goals, your objectives, things that you enjoy doing, etc. If you have a spouse, I'll always encourage them to participate, even if you may be the person in the family that handles your business affairs. When people are married, they're a team, and decisions are made as a team that way too. So I understand people's circumstances are different, but I always encourage the spouse to attend so we can at least hear their voice and factor in their perspective, again, even if you're the one that's going to be handling everything from there. So that consultation will last 60 to 90 minutes, and it's really predicated on how many questions you have for me. I've got a bunch of questions for you. There's about 35 points of criteria of being a franchise business owner that I'm going to be looking to garner from our conversation. And again, anything that I can answer legally, I'm an open book. I'll be glad to tell you anything I possibly can. So we go through the consultation. The next step, from there, I'm going to take all that information and I'm going to go build you a custom search model. That model is really going to be the blueprint for the search that we are now about to engage in. And so it's going to take me a few days to do that. And in the meantime, I'm going to introduce you to a franchise lender. Now, all these franchise brands have a minimum liquidity and net worth requirement. Okay. Some people come to the table with a really high amount of liquidity and net worth. And so, going to a lender or having that conversation may not apply to them. But even my high net worth candidates still take the opportunity to do it because they just want to understand their options. So the thing I like about that, and by the way, I'm not on their payroll, they're not writing me checks, it doesn't work that way. I refer my candidates to them because these folks will walk you through your own financial situation, help you understand what your options are. Yep, maybe you have enough cash on hand, or maybe you need to look at an SBA loan. Maybe it's just a regular commercial loan that you've got to do, or a HELOC could apply. You might be a candidate to roll over retirement funds to help invest in your project at no taxes or penalties. They will walk you through all of that. So by the time you come back, or by the time we get back together, we will know what you can reasonably afford from a budget standpoint so you can do a franchise business the right way. Okay, the next time we get back together, I'm going to have your model and show it to you, and we'll sign off on it together, making sure that in fact, yep, that's got what I'm looking for. And I'm going to come back to that conversation with the top matching franchise brands that are available that fit all your criteria in your market, at your investment level, the right ownership model, all the stuff. So we'll go through those together. That meeting is going to take about 45 minutes. And we'll walk through the different opportunities that are rating high for you, and we'll agree to the ones that make the most sense to start investigating. The next thing is really an investment of time. This is where the work starts on your part. So there's no way to investigate a business other than doing it directly. So in that process, you're going to learn from the franchisor how the business model works, all the internal workings of the system. You're going to get all the financial and economic data from them. They're going to walk you through all of that and make sure that you still look like a good fit for them as you are vetting them to make sure they look like a good fit for you. That's phase one. We'll call that investigation. Phase two is really where the gold is at. So on the front end, we learn what it's supposed to look like, how it all works, what the unit economics look like, how they market, etc. The second phase is we get to talk to franchisees that actually do this every day, all day. That, my friend, is where the gold is at. So now we're going to validate with them. We're going to confirm all of what we've learned with them and see what it's really like to be an owner in that system. This is really a commitment of time, as I mentioned, in the process. It's going to take you about 2 to 3 hours a week per brand that we actively investigate. And my coaching is always look at a minimum of 2 and as many as 3. Okay. Depending on how much time you have on your hands, that process is going to take you 4 to 6 weeks. And if we're looking at 2 to 3 brands, it's going to take you 6 to 10 hours a week of your time. That's going to include making a phone call each week with with each brand that we're investigating. You're going to have some homework to do, and then you're going to start to validate with franchisees and some research along the way. So 2 to 3 hours per brand, 2 to 3 brands at a time. Sometimes we'll look at 4, but most of the time we cap it at 3. It's quite a load, and it takes a little bit to get used to, and so we'll break that in the right way. Once the process is going, all roads are going to lead to a yes or no decision, and there's no wrong answer. As your consultant, your reasons why you didn't like a brand are equally important. We will use that data to fine-tune your search and continue to weed out opportunities that possess these characteristics that you don't like. That is how I continue to save you time and effort in this process. And we are really hunting with a rifle now, sifting through brands that are nailing exactly what we're after. So ultimately, we can help you reach your goal of finding the business of your dreams. So what are my expectations? Just so you know, you don't sign a contract with me and you will never write me a check. If through this process you find a business that you love, we get a referral fee for all of the work that we did. If you go through this process and don't find something, there is no harm, no foul. We shake hands, we walk away as friends, and some people will come back and we'll go through it at a time that's more appropriate for them. My expectations are simply that you're willing to communicate with me and that you're engaged. And as long as you're doing those 2 things, it is absolutely worth my time to help you. Again, whether you find a business you love or that you don't. So that, my friends, is the process. I hope that is helpful for you, painting a picture of what this looks like. There's no easy button. I wish I could put you on the elevator and send you straight to the top floor where you can make a decision. That's not going to do you much good. You got to take the stairs, put in some work. And my job is to remove as much noise and make this as easy for you as possible. If that is of interest, please reach out. Schedule some time for us to connect on an introductory call. I'd love to hear your story and help you figure out if franchising makes sense for you. Thanks again.